Hey, it's good to see so many of you again. Once again, I'm your kindly old Uncle G, and this is the Retro Activate podcast, where we'll look at a classic LP that merits another look. This month's selection merits a trigger warning. So we'll be looking at X's debut album, Los Angeles. Its tales include characters who use racial slurs and commit sexual assault. So I would completely understand if you can't stick around for this one. I myself was attending a high school in Southeast Michigan when this album came out in 1980. And throughout the 80s, it became an odd rite of passage among my peers to forego the local crappy jobs to move to LA and work the crappy jobs out there. With maybe one exception, everyone I knew that went this route returned home penniless, having been screwed over by their new LA BFFs. Even then, I had sort of a thing for classic equity and the sense that Los Angeles was no place for a lad without a trust fund. This didn't, however, prevent me from developing a deep appreciation for LA punk. And X's debut album could very well be that scene's defining text. Imagine a bohemian George Jones and Tammy Wynette fronting a band that plays cleaner and faster than the Ramones. Imagine as well a band drawing from Raymond Carver rather than Cracked Magazine, a time and place better captured by Jamie Hernandez than John Holstrom. Fronted by future ex-spouses Exene Cervenka and John Doe, a vocal duel as unique as Annie and rock and roll, the band had as much to do with the Blasters as Black Flag. They made a sound open to the influence of American icons like Udi Ledbetter, Jerry Lee Lewis, and The Doors while remaining unabashedly X, never brand X. The songs here are protest songs, which is important. They are born of sustained survival mode, pushing back against defeat. Preordained defeat. Defeat is a culture. Defeat is a low-grade fever. On the opening track, the phone's off the hook, but you're not. The pre-defeat is amorous. And again, Exene and John deliver simultaneously as the married couple they were and the divorced couple they would become before too long. In the song Nausea, the defeat is biological. In The Unheard Music, the defeat is perpetrated by the music industry. With this track, we have a band exploring the airplay that they're too loud and sophisticated to receive. The band's cover of Soul Kitchen reminds me that there was an effective sense of place and nihilism in Jim Morrison's song lyrics. X wrestles this one away from the stoner armchair philosophers who've always turned me off the Doors, and they do so right under the nose of producer Ray Manzarek. They burn off the song's seductive game. I mean, as a Doors track, it has been a counterculture, baby it's cold outside kind of thing, and that vibe's a little creepy. X's incineration frees the song's little gems, such as the notion of a secret alphabet, however, and the LA survival tactic of learning how to forget. As Exene wails, "I'd really like to stay here all night," she's crying out for shelter, not free love nookie. Just as the city of Los Angeles wore down my friends and the title track's protagonist, this recording that I admire can wear on me. At some point, I simply did not want it darker. As glossed over in my trigger warning, the song Johnny Hit and Run Pauline describes a sex machine drug that leads to a series of rapes. It may be no worse than a true crime expose on basic cable, but at some point I turn those off as well. The track is a Johnny B. Good takeoff, and Chuck Berry's Sweet Little 16 sexualized a minor, so rock and roll has been built up from multiple moments that make us cringe, I'm afraid. I listen to this track as I do the album as a whole as protest music, aware that in pop culture there's often a mighty thin line between condemnation and celebration. This is one dour masterpiece, but the good news is that if you're insistent on a happy ending, you can always board the bus to Anaheim, a mere 25 miles away. Watch your wallet, though. I hear that a white-gloved mouse hangs out there trying to convince starry-eyed rubes that he's their BFF. If you get that, you'll probably get X. So, as the tank person said, it's been swell, but the swelling went down. I'll be back next month with more on the music that built and then threatened to destroy, then had a tickle fight with this great nation of ours. Be sure to subscribe. It wouldn't be a party without you. This has been your kindly old Uncle G for the Retro Activate podcast. Until next week, stay strange.